Good morning and happy Metabolism Monday. My metabolism is frozen to the core. I was talking in here at the pre-party. Who did I miss? I miss Cool Gamer. I miss Nana. I miss Mary Glick. I saw Pat K sneak in. Hello, Pat K. Angie Baby made it in. Hello, Kaleida Hope. Hello, Vicky. Kiki Eyes. Yeah, I was talking at the pre-party. And I said, I like a cool, crisp fall morning, but not this crisp. No. And DT Driver is in chat. You might want to check on him to see if he's okay. It was not a good football weekend. All right? OU lost. He almost didn't want to show his face at the Quick Trip yesterday. The Broncos beat Kansas City. He's blaming Taylor Swift for that. Not a good football weekend in our house. Jules said she's still under the covers. Hello, Magic Jack. And we're off to the show. 3 adults that were closest to Summer all have different versions of the day she vanished. 2 we know for sure were with her that day, by their own admission. Now, if you watch other channels, and I'm sure you do, I'm sure you keep up with the streets, there's a lot of community posts lately and creators that have recycled the same argument. This started a few months after Summer disappeared. It's not about Summer anymore. People are just talking about her parents. How can you not talk about the people that were responsible for her, the people that are not cooperating with law enforcement, the people that keep changing the narrative and changing their stories? How can you not talk about them? I don't think they're celebrities or anything like that. I don't think by talking about their nastiness that they're going to suddenly break and tell us what happened to Summer. I don't think that at all. But I'm damn sure not going to ignore the case of Summer Wells and her get lost in the nastiness. That's crazy. That is crazy. So then that's going to go away and another argument will be recycled. Then they're going to come back to that. It's not about Summer anymore. It's all about the parents. You have to talk about the people that were with her that day. If their story was the exact same, and been the exact same the whole time, then they really wouldn't be mentioned that much. Now, would they? Let's take a second and tell everybody, good morning. Check on your neighbor's metabolism. Welcome. Hope you guys had a better football weekend than we did. Devastating, to say the least. But that's all right. There's always next week. Thank you, Vibe with My Tribe. Said, love the channel. Always listen while working. Very good. Mama She, how you doing, honey buns? Hey. Good morning, Kathy. So let's go through a few things that have been going around, and then we'll get to the comments. As we know, Tim is drinking the Kool-Aid served by Dawn about CPS. Everything is CPS's fault, and of course, those dastardly YouTubers. But like Josh with the lab so wonderfully pointed out, Dawn's a YouTuber. Candace is a YouTuber. Timmy is a YouTuber. Robin is a YouTuber. Can't get more clear than that. This was a week or so ago. Timmy Boy said, often asked. Here's the answer. Summer's brothers were only to be temporarily protected from the chaos created by her disappearance. Instead, they became a profitable product to the system. Oh my. Dun, 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 dun. We heard this last week from Can't. LOL, y'all. Tables are fixing to turn. You think you have the upper hand, but you don't. Whew. Mic drop, Can't. Then we get to some real ridiculous stuff that was dropped. This to me is creepy. Can't says yes over and out. I'm assuming Timmy made this. Voices behind the boring wall. The YouTubian we are proud to block. October 25th, 2023. This right here is actually against terms of service. Now, you can say to people, hey, if you don't like someone, just don't watch them or something like that. But making a community post where you are suggesting that people block another channel, can't. You need to read your YouTubian guide. You can't do that. Also, it looks like the grave marker is in water, which creeped a lot of people out. So we're still on CPS, according to Dawn. They're not going to talk about June 15th or what led up to Summer's disappearance. Leslie at TBI said herself, it is unclear what led up to Summer's disappearance. Well, their asses aren't going to help you. Instead, we have a new suspect. Dawn W, Wells, said the Biden administration. Yep. This is in Daisy's chat. Then he says, I think CPS has adopted her out. Oh my. You do know that when you get called to the carpet, these things are going to be used against you, Dawn. Dawn says, CPS, the real monsters. Please tell your tale. Dawn goes on to say, Summer come up missing right after Biden was elected. He was elected in November. She disappeared in June. So you're telling me that Biden, when he got into office, said, find me a little girl in East Tennessee, preferably in a basement, that I can go steal. What the hell is he talking about? Yeah. Can y'all see? And I'm not getting political. Can you see old Biden making it up the dog trail? We had quite a laugh about Allie trying to get up it, but really? You've got to be kidding me. Of course, the drama over the booth is still going on. Can't was in a chat. She said she didn't know that was going to happen, that the police were going to be called and arrests were going to be made. She said, but I didn't know that it was going to happen that day. Well, what day was it going to happen, Can't? She said, and time. There, THIER, there a difference. Not difference with a C, but different with a T, plural. I don't think that's the difference, Can't. But the issue is these booths really do help bring awareness to missing children. And Toaster Oven, who worked very hard on that booth, said, she sent drama to my missing kids booth. That's a problem when organizers of events say they do not want our booth due to the drama. So do you think you did a good thing or a bad thing? Because reading this tells me it's a very bad thing. Although I still want to figure out how in the hell Donnie W. Wells came up with this. Summer come up missing right after Biden was elected. Oh my Lanta. All right, let's get to the comments from the last show. Y'all had a lot to say. This is from our spectacular job, Dawn, from last week. Leah said at 37:22, I realized that she was not ... She says, just interesting how he pauses here as if he was going to say something and thought better of it. Let's listen to it. It would help if I put it on the screen.
And I realized right then and there that she was not there. I knew right then and there that she was gone. I just, because she would never leave there on her own. Somebody had taken her out.
Because she would never leave there on her own. We knew somebody had taken her. I need to find the video. I need to ask him for permission. Don B did a video where he's going down Ben Hill Road. Similar time of year. You would not know with the foliage that there is a house there. And we get to when Dr. Phil was talking to Candace, and she was looking at him like a deer in headlights. He said, when this gets solved, and it will, he said, it will get solved. It's going to be someone you know. And she had absolutely zero expression on her face. Crazy. Suds79 said Hunter didn't hesitate to tell Chris McDonough that he felt that Grandma had something to do with it because she was out of her mind. Summer got a piece of candy from Grandma. Candace said candy or prescription medications. We don't know. Summer said she wasn't feeling well, and Candace thought she should just bring Summer to the hospital. Very unusual day. Keena Ward said Don can never just focus on Summer. If someone mentions her being missing, he always brings up all the missing children. And when talking about the kids, they only mention the boys, and Summer is always mentioned as separate. I think so too. I think it's really, really weird. Team Dadu said, I have known Dudley almost my whole life. He wouldn't hurt a child. I'm not sure what's up with him and the trouble he has found, but hurt a child? Never. I would bet everything on that. Yeah, well, the heat's off of Dudley because Dawn is back to blaming Joe Biden. So Dudley is off the hook this week. Now, you want to keep talking about Joe Biden in public chats, you're going to have the Secret Service at your door, you idiot. You total idiot. You've got to be kidding me. And I always wonder what sparked them wanting the boys back so bad. It is just my opinion after Dawn made the announcement that one of the boys, we don't need to know which one, was diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. He's not going to know the damn difference. That suddenly they wanted him back. He even said, why should the foster family get that money? I'd say that's pretty sus. All right, our good friend Don B, and I will put his channel in here. He shared this. It's a phone call from Candace where she gives us yet another theory as to what she thinks happened to Summer. Now, mind you, they share these theories with everybody except for the TBI, FBI, or Hawkins County. In Don's own words, he said his private investigator called TBI a couple of months ago. Well, he said that like in July. So May? I wonder how many times last week Don, Candace, or Grandis called any member of law enforcement to get an update on the case. I have a feeling it's a big round number. 0. 0 times is what I'm guessing.
The other night, like Christmas Eve night, what is his name? Damn. I have to look it up again, but I can't remember what his name is. But is he a YouTuber? Little Wayne Warlock. I don't know what that is. Wayne.
I'm not putting this dude's picture up because I don't think he has a dang thing to do with Summer's disappearance. But they're going to blame the wrong person one day, and it's not going to work out in their dang favor.
Warlock. That's what his name is. Oh, okay. Well, it was Christmas Eve, and he showed up out of the blue. Drunk kid. At your house? At our house.
He showed up Christmas Eve, drunk AF, as if this would offend Can't. You really think somebody's showing up drunk? She doesn't exactly wear her morals on her sleeve, okay? But it's like pearl clutch. Drunk AF on Christmas Eve. You mean you just hadn't got it started yet?
Drunk as shit. And he tried to talk Donnie into going into town with him. And, he was high on fucking dope and everything. Wow. I was like, I'm not going to town with you. Little Wayne Moore, you can look him up. He'll be on the internet. Okay. He molested a kid that was 18 years old and threw him outside on the freaking dish line on his deathbed. And then there's a lot more information on him too. Do you think he had something to do with Summer? Well, Donnie said when Summer come missing that he went over to his house. Don.
So Don said that this Wayne guy, who showed up on Christmas Eve drunk, Don did his own investigation, okay, my friends? And he went over to the guy's house. Again, this is on Don B's channel. I put the link in the chat.
Well, Donnie said when Summer come missing that he went over to his house. Don went over to this guy's house? Yeah. Huh. Why would he do that? I don't know. That's kind of odd. There's a lot of unanswered questions that I want answered, but
she said there's a lot of unanswered questions that I want answered. She's like, that seems odd. So is Can't throwing old Wayner under the bus? Or is she throwing Dawn under the bus because Dawn supposedly went to this man's house that day?
Over to this guy's house? Yeah. Huh. Why would he do that? I don't know. That's kind of odd. There's a lot of unanswered questions that I want answered, but I can't ask him on Donnie because he'll flip out. Right. Do you think he could have took Summer over there? Now, I don't think Donnie did it. Right. But I think that there's someone that Donnie knows.
Okay. I don't think Donnie did it, but I think it's someone that Donnie knows. Very convenient, because this phone call was after when Dr. Phil shut down the show with, when this gets solved, and it will, it's going to be someone you know. We also know that Don Wells talked to Brian Enton and said Candace may have made the wrong friends. That is sticking in Cant's little peanut brain. She does have that type of capacity. So she has to make sure that whoever done it was a friend of Dawn's. Listen to her again.
Why do you do that? I don't know. That's kind of odd. There's a lot of unanswered questions that I want answered, but like I can't ask them on Donnie because he'll flip out. Right. Do you think he could have took Summer over there? No. I don't think Donnie did it. Right. But I think that there's someone that Donnie knows that may have did this. Oh my God.
I think it's somebody that Donnie knows may have did this. This is what I want to know. What is this? Did this? Did this? What is this? Can't. What is it? Or were you still butthurt because on a live, your husband said this?
No, I have 7 alibis. I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't going down. She's going down. You were at work. Right? 7 alibis. Candace ain't going down. She's going down. You were at work.
Candace ain't got done. She's going down. But then she talks to someone else. She said, I can't ask Donnie. He'll flip out. Donnie will flip out. Why would you not ask him? Your daughter is missing. Or are you not asking him? Because we know she fights with him. You know she does. She's not, no. She's not some withering little flower that's that scared of Dawn. This is from June 21st. Now, on the last show, we talked about the call between Dawn and Jeff Bobo on June 18th, which was jaw-dropping. Jeff Bobo waited a few days to revisit this. I'm sure he needed time to process everything he had heard. I can't say that I blame him. But these calls between Jeff and Dawn are very telling. Sailor said, hey, Candace, I thought Dawn was at work. It can't be both. That would be the first answer. Was Dawn home or not? He slipped on the Brian Enton interview, and he said, we could have not been paying attention. 3 adults and 3 boys? Nobody would notice somebody carrying Summer off? No. Unless it was Batman. No way.
We still got our God, and we still, he's, I mean, you know what I mean? He's got to put our faith and trust in him. He's the only one that knows where she's at, right? Well, I guess.
So he says, this is talking to Jeff Bobo, and I hope he took some vitamins, did some yoga to get prepared for phone call number 2. Because Don's like, we just have to trust in our God. He's the only one that knows where she's at. What makes you think that, considering the cast of characters you have around you and the fact that your wife and your mother-in-law were home? And after a very extensive search, they came up with nothing.
I guess I just wanted to ask a couple of quick questions about, since we last spoke, have there been any new developments or any changes in the law? Not at all. And I saw where Friday night after sundown they called everybody back. Yeah, there was some sort of tip or something, and we seen, blue lights up and down Beach Creek, and the helicopter flew till like 4 in the morning, looking around, so we was up till 4 in the morning being hopeful that they, find something, but there's nothing. Yeah. My personal opinion is maybe some human trafficking ring seen her on Facebook and tracked her down, like some kind of, that somebody is taken her out of the area, and I don't know.
Okay, so we got the song and dance about the resurrection and all the good church people that he knows on June 18th, 2021. The 21st, we've turned up the volume. Now it's a human trafficking ring that came across Summer on Facebook and tracked her down. Yes, my friends. Human trafficking ring, and it's possible, don't get me wrong. And also, he blessed us with this the other day. Summer come up missing right after Biden was elected. You've got to be kidding me.
Whether a human trafficking ring or what or who, but I knew from the first day she wasn't in the area, right? Well, did you guys go to church on Saturday? Yes, sir. What was that like? Did you guys? This is the first time you've been back since this happened. Yeah, when we first, we got there at 9 o'clock, and they had a vigil for Summer, and they had all kind of pictures up on the screen, and when Summer run around that whole church and visited everybody, and so when we first went in there, we both broke down, of course. Me and my wife broke down, and we had to go outside. But they've been very supportive, of course, and everybody has. Law enforcement's been very supportive and very good to us. But yeah, it was just missing Summer. I wish she could be there. Yeah. The thoughts of her not being able to be there with us and with the people that she loves so much, it was heartbreaking, right? Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You're fine. Go ahead, buddy. Well, I was just going to see. One thing I neglected to ask you last time we spoke was just, can you tell me a little bit about Summer? What kind of a child was she? What is she like? Well, I have a video, and it's on TikTok. The last video that my wife made of her, she's got a couple more, and I really like to share them with the public. Okay.
All right. He's asked a simple question, which I understand it would be hard to answer if you're a normal person, because you would be crying and it'd be hard to get it out. Okay, so Jeff asks a simple question. Tell me about Summer. What is she like? He refers him to a creepy TikTok video. Not, she likes this color, she likes to eat this is her favorite show. No. Go watch these TikTok videos. What kind of a child is she? What is she like? Well, I have a video, and it's on TikTok, the last video that my wife made of her, and she's got a couple more, and I really like to share them with the public. Okay. But I don't know how to do that. Yeah. You could. Are we allowed to go up to your house now? No, but I could get her
I don't know if you guys have been reading Facebook, stuff like that, but it's some pretty negative stuff on that. Yeah. And they're calling her the Boswell something. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it's pretty bad.
I guess, that's another thing I was going to ask you is and I don't think that the media has been disrespectful, and I have tried not to be. But I know that in this age of social media, which we're probably close to the same age, and we didn't grow up like this, but in this age of social media, everybody can get online and say anything they want. And I was just wondering how that has affected you and your family. Are you trying to stay away from it, or have you read it?
My wife can't help but be on there because she's looking for clues. Yeah. She can't help it. Right. But this negativity, is tearing her apart. That's why she don't want to do any interviews, because she's afraid they lash out on her even more.
Yeah. I don't follow it as close as I should. What kind of things are they saying?
They're calling her I can't remember, the Boswell something, but I can't remember what it was. They're comparing her to that, and just all kind of negative stuff.
How does that make you feel when you see that kind of stuff?
Well, to me, I just hang on to, I hang on to what good people say. I don't listen. We've been dealing with, even in talking.
They were comparing Can't to Megan Boswell. He knows who Megan Boswell is, because even though the evidence is overwhelming against little baby Evelyn, what happened to her, he said they're trying to railroad Candace the way they did Megan Boswell. He's like, oh, she can't take the negativity. They can't stay away from YouTube. We got that promise from Can't a couple of weeks ago. Donnie's not going to talk to any stupid YouTubers. Well, that wasn't, she must have had her fingers crossed, because it wasn't a hot minute till he was on there again.
Drywall, we deal with all kinds, and and of course I've been to prison. I try to I try to be around good people. I listen to what they say and what God says. The rest of them can, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's got to be hard on your wife, though, to have to see that stuff.
Yeah, she's not taking it well. She's having a hard time. She's up and down, and then, she really is. She needs some support, and of course, they're not. Our church members try to come up there, and they're just not letting anybody up there.
Right. And I guess you guys are. I don't know what that road looks like, but if it's anything like where I grew up, it's pretty spread out. It's up a holler. Not a lot of close neighbors to talk to.
Okay. I like how Jeff did this video, because right there he's showing their driveway. This is not the dog trail. This is a driveway. I have never been out there, but I take it from people who have, and there's been several over the years. They said as you're going down that road with the heavy foliage, so we're talking May, June, July, August, before the leaves start falling, you wouldn't even know a house is up there, and this does not appear to be a driveway. Some people have passed it several times, not realizing that's the driveway. So you're telling me Joe Biden knew that was their driveway?
Road looks like, but if it's anything like where I grew up, it's pretty spread out. It's up a holler. Not a lot of close neighbors to talk to.
They've been all through there with a fine tooth comb.
Yeah.
Several times over. She's not in the area.
Yeah. I just can't imagine who would be bold enough to go up a holler, a blind holler that, unless they had done some research or something and knew what they were looking for.
Mic drop. Who would fly blind into the holler unless they know what they're looking for? This is not a playground. This is not a neighborhood where kids are playing in the front yard, in the cul-de-sac playing basketball, over on the tennis courts, at the skateboard park. Who would be bold enough to fly blind into the holler unless they know what they're looking for? Well, Dawn doesn't really want to hear that.
Yeah. I just can't imagine who would be bold enough to go up a holler, a blind holler that, unless they had done some research or something and knew what they were looking for. And then they have to time it right. It just seems, it's hard to believe that something.
It's hard to believe, he said, and have to time it right. This didn't happen at 1 o'clock in the morning, where odds are everyone's, in bed asleep. Jeff was on to Dawn from the start. I like how he said, and would have to time it right. Remember, Candace, Grandis, and Summer had been all over that day. The kidnapper just happened to know they were home and just happened to know Summer was in the basement. And let's not forget the many changing stories that Candace gave right off the bat until they must have had a family meeting. I have a feeling the family meeting was between Candace and Grandis, and they came up with the planting cactus peppermint story.
Like that can happen.
Well, to be someone pretty desperate for money or whatever, or I don't know what their angle is, but yeah, it would be pretty desperate.
Okay. This is huge what Dawn says. It would be somebody pretty desperate for money. I don't know what their angle is, but yeah. Let's listen to it again. And thank you, Hey Jude, for becoming a new YouTube member. Welcome to the family. We have a members live tomorrow.
And knew what they were looking for. And then they have to time it right. It just seems, it's hard to believe that something like that can happen.
Well, to be someone pretty desperate for money or whatever, or I don't know what their angle is, but yeah, it would be pretty desperate.
Well, I guess, how are the kids doing? How are your sons doing?
It seems like they handle it better for some odd reason that I don't understand. My oldest boy, though, he'll stop from time to time and say he misses his sister, stuff. But, your mind has a way of forgetting every now and then. I find myself doing it too. Every now and then but then it comes like flooding all back, of course,
Yeah.
I might get away from it for about 15, 20 seconds, but it'll all come back. That's the first thought on my mind when I wake up.
Well, do you remember what your last memory was of summer? What y'all were doing?
Probably the night before she wanted to twirl. She wanted me to. I just hold her my hand while she twirled, because that's what she considered herself a ballerina or a princess kind of thing. 5 years old. Yeah.
Okay, so he says his last memory of Summer was the night before. He held her hand. We're back to the twirling story. What happened to the morning of when he was leaving for work and she was supposedly in bed asleep with Candace? Now we're saying he saw her the night before. So he's removing himself from that morning.
Yeah. She likes to dance. I saw that video of her dancing in the rain. That was real cute.
That's the video I was wanting to get out. She asked if at all possible.
Okay.
I'd like everybody to see that.
Are you working today?
I'm trying to. I'm here talking with my employers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could. I wouldn't be able to work under these circumstances. It's too much.
Yeah, it is. It's too much, but I'm just trying to have hope and faith in God that He knows all things and that He will protect her is my hope and prayer. Yeah. Wherever she's at, and that He will turn it all around someday, to glorify His name. That's what my prayer is. I mean, Daniel was led into captivity, and I don't know.
Okay, so he talks about somebody desperate for money. That would be their angle. Human traffickers that found her on Facebook. And now he's talking about Daniel being sold into captivity. Are you kidding me? Is he telling on himself? Does he know more? What is going on? That is an odd statement.
He trusted in God the whole way, all the way through it all, even to the point of being put into the fiery furnace. Right? He was willing to do that for his God, and that's the only thing I can, lean to is people like him, and maybe she's got enough experience in the church that she'll never forget it, and maybe that will lead her back home someday. That's my prayer.
Was there anything that was said at church or any kind of fellowship that gave you a little bit of comfort on Saturday?
Oh yeah, all kind of stuff like that. Yes, sir. I can't remember specifically, but just I don't know, just having good people there for you. It's a comfort. People willing to talk to you. That's the main thing. Right. All I can do is put it in God's hands.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that's all I was going to ask you about, unless there's something else that you wanted the public to know about what's going on.
No, just
does your family need anything? Because I know it's probably hard for you to get out and get necessities and stuff.
No, we are absolutely fine as far as that goes. Everybody takes the searchers and the police, all kind of stuff, and they've been bringing us a lot of that stuff to our house. So,
okay.
Yeah.
People have been bringing the searchers, all kinds of stuff. That's for the search, and they've been bringing it to the house. No. Candace, who does not want to go in front of the media, she was spotted with Candace taking the searchers' supplies. That's not bringing it up to Ben Hill Road.
Okay. It's been really good. Really good. Just appreciate everybody for their efforts. That's all I really do. So I know they're trying hard.
Did they really ramped it up this weekend, didn't they? They brought in a lot more people.
Yes. Yeah, and they're not stopping. They're not stopping. But I just, feel that she's not in the area, and they know that. But they still have to search.
I think, maybe they could find a clue or something too of who was out there. That might be another.
Yeah, they're still looking for 2 more people of interest that have been through there.
Okay. I don't know where Don got this. He said, well, they have to search. They have to search. Of course they do. She's missing. She's still missing. He said they're still looking for 2 more people of interest. I don't think they would have told Don that, and the only 2 people of interest I can think of would be Candace and Candace because they were there.
Clue or something too of who was out there. That might be another.
Yeah, they're still looking for 2 more people of interest that have been through there.
Really?
Yes, sir.
What kind of people are those?
I have no idea for sure. And a lot of this might be speculation because I tried to ask them about it, and they just say we're looking into it. Just hang. And they won't give them any information to higher ups. And I can't. I try to help and everything.
I try to help, he said, and they won't give the information to the higher ups. Now, he doesn't know these things. Is he just talking out his ass, or did he really have a conversation?
Because I tried to ask him about it.
Police don't speculate. They investigate. He said, I tried to ask them about it.
They just say, we're looking into it. Just, they won't give them any information to higher ups. And they, I can't, I try to help and everything, and I can't do nothing that they ain't doing already.
Right. Okay. Well, I continue to pray for you, and my wife prays for you. We know this has got to be the most horrible time, and it's just like it's unimaginable.
It is. Hello back on my BS. I've missed you. If I was Jeff Bobo, I probably would have slept for a good 14 hours after that. I would have been like, what is this conversation? Now, the one we had on June 18th, 2021 blew my mind, but this one knocked my socks off. Human traffickers that found her on Facebook and just happened to know where they live and knew how to get up that driveway. Chris McDonough missed the driveway twice. Other people have said, I think Ernie was one when he went to take Dum Dum some pizza. He couldn't figure out where the driveway was. But some human trafficker on Facebook that became a human trafficker after Joe Biden got elected got up and down in 2 minutes or 10 minutes. Now we get to Candace. And yep, this is old news, but this is all for comparison. That's Dawn's theory. Candace, who was with Summer that day, gives her version of the day, and it's different from Candace's version.
Daniel spoke with Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, the lead investigator in the case.
Yeah, Ansley, the sheriff told you today that Summer's family now currently is not cooperating with law enforcement?
That's exactly right, Josh and Sarah. He also told me that the family has attorneys. Now, he did tell me that he didn't want to speak any further on the matter, but I did have the chance to speak with Summerwell's mother and grandmother at the home where she disappeared earlier today. And her grandmother told me that she wanted to address the sheriff's comments about them not cooperating, as well as whether or not they have an attorney. And this was the first time that we have spoken with her on camera since her granddaughter went missing.
Mr. Lawson stated that Candace and the whole family is lawyered up. I can't speak for Donnie, and I know Candace hasn't because she's told me she hasn't, and I have not. If law enforcement wants to talk to me, TBI wants to talk to me, they have my phone number. They know when I leave the state. They know when I'm here.
Makes me ill. Your granddaughter is missing. They have my phone number. They know when I'm in the state. They know when I'm not in the state. That doesn't sound like cooperation. They know how to get a hold of me. That's not what they're saying. They're not saying they don't have your phone number. Useless. You're not giving them the information they need to investigate the disappearance of your granddaughter. You're evading is what you're doing, and you're deflecting.
Summerwell's grandmother, Candace Hare, says she hasn't spoken with law enforcement since December 13th.
They have not contacted me since the YouTubers were down here in the driveway, and we asked them about trespassing.
Summer's grandma was with her granddaughter all.
Okay, the YouTubers were in the driveway. So they called law enforcement about trespassing. That was in December of 2021. This interview was in March of 2022. So December, January, February, March, 3 months. So in 3 months, there's been no communication regarding her missing granddaughter at all. Does that sound like cooperation to you guys? Does it sound like she gives a shit? Not to me.
All day on June 15th, the day she disappeared. She walked me through what they did that day and said she and Summer were repotting cactus plants outside of her camper, and then
Summer come in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went in. She said, Mama, I want to go play with the boys. Candy walked her back to the house.
They got that peppermint for free at Sonic when they got the slushies. Goodness. All right, so here we go. Here is her timeline. She doesn't give a time, though. She can't tell you the time.
The boys, Candy walked her back to the house, and she asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
As the 9-month mark of when her granddaughter was reported missing approaches, she says the social media and online rumors have to stop.
Well, they're not going to stop until the truth is out. I'm sorry to say it. Sorry to say it. Okay. So that's the story, and we're sticking to it. She basically just shrugs and says, and that's the last I've seen her. Can't walk her to the house. She told the boys to watch her. That's the last she saw her.
If they want to help, that's great. But if they want to spread lies, that's a different story. Because that's all they're doing now is spreading lies. They're reaching and trying to figure out what lie can we spread now. And I'm tired of it.
Now, Summer's mother, Candace Bly, did not want to go on camera. However, she did write this statement for us on my notepad. You see it right there on your screen as well. It says, I've never stopped talking to law enforcement. No.
Oh, can't. Oh, can't. She didn't want to talk to Ansley, which is exactly what she should be doing, is talking to the actual media to advocate for her daughter. But she writes this, Ted Bundy has better penmanship. I've never stopped talking to law enforcement. No, I have not lawyered up. I don't understand why this is being said.
I have not lawyered up. I don't understand why this is being said. I can't speak for Dawn, and we are willing to do whatever to bring our daughter Summer home. Thanks for all the searchers. Now, she also did not want to address her new YouTube channel, Dr. Phil, or anything other than the comments by the sheriff made earlier today. However, she and her mother, Summer's grandmother, wanted me to reiterate how thankful they were for the searchers who are still out looking for Summer, as well as law enforcement for still keeping this investigation open and fresh. Live in Beach Creek, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
Candace also said she does not put herself at the horse pond. She said, I believe she went swimming. Deflection. She said, I took a nap. Sleeping Beauty. I took a nap. Arabian Horses Forever said, as a grandmother myself, I would be frantically trying to find my grandchild. I could not even imagine acting like her. They are all so detached from Summer. Now, Miss Bumney, that just had to go to the ER that day, was at the water park on that Friday. You think Summer's at the water park? What are you doing? What are you doing? This is from JLR's channel because it's not like Candace doesn't have quite a few skeletons in her closet. And one of them is her brother. I am not saying Warren Hare has anything to do with Summer's disappearance. But let me tell you, he came out of the same stock pond. Same gene pool.
Take the next left onto Black Creek Drive, Kington Road. In half a mile, you will arrive at your destination. You've arrived.
All right. So this is the home of Warren Harrer. Warren Harrer. He is a registered sex offender, lives out in the middle of nowhere in Thorpe. Okay, so why am I at Warren Harrer's home? Well, this is the brother of Candace Harrer, Summer's grandmother. Summer Wells is missing. Summer Wells has been missing since June 15th, 2021. Warren Harrer lives here. He was incarcerated in the Wisconsin Department of Corrections for a long, long time, labeled as a dangerous, violent, sexual predator. And you see, he lives out in the middle of nowhere. This is the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to go up there because his home is off a dirt road. And this is in Thorpe, Wisconsin. You see,
They even put a warning out on the news when he was being released. They said, if you have any questions, call the local sheriff's department because he is labeled as a dangerous SO. Yes, he is. Candace in Crime, who, by the way, is a very gifted artist. I'm going to share the painting that she sent to me, is making it rain. Let's take a second and thank our friend Candace in Crime. Avi said, why releasing them? Because laws need to change. Like Brandon Lawson should never have been released. There is many people that are deemed dangerous SOs that are released. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. You can't really prevent a crime because, well, criminals don't brush up on the law to see if they're breaking one. They just do whatever they want to do and just hope to not get caught. But when someone is deemed a dangerous SO, they need to stay behind bars. It's scary.
there's a barn there, a shed. Kind of scary to think that a sex offender lives here. Well, he's registered as a sex offender that lives here in the middle of nowhere. Definitely could lure people to his farm. If I turn around up here.
Now, Warren was supposed to be in some home somewhere where he was heavily monitored, but he was seen outside of a McDonald's and he was watching children play. Okay? I don't live anywhere near Thorpe, Wisconsin, But if I did, I'd have been one of the first people, even without minor children at home, calling the sheriff's department saying, now what are you doing to guarantee the safety of the community? He's dangerous. Dangerous. It's crazy. And look at Connie go. Connie gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships just in time for our Halloween party tomorrow. Thank you so much, my friend Connie. Sick. And it's sad that we're to a world that is so upside down. We were talking about it on Friday with the Missouri Miracle, Sean Hornbeck and Ben Ownby. Sean was riding his bicycle, okay? And people were going after his parents going, well, what are you doing letting him ride his bicycle? What kind of a world do we live in where we have to keep kids at home in front of the TV under lock and chain because of freaks like this that are out? That's horrible.
Looks like there is. Look how remote this area is. This area is extremely remote. Where is Summer Wells? I'm going to turn around. Dead end. It's Kingston and Wilderness. Thorpe, Wisconsin. All right, so there's the home. I see multiple cars there. Get out of the car here. Get out of the car. So Warren Hare lives right here. Thorpe, Wisconsin. This is in the middle of nowhere. Just a long dirt road out here. No neighbors in sight. The individual that is a registered sex offender lives right there. Where is Summer Wells? Now, do I think Warren is involved? Probably not. But he is the brother of Candace Hare, and Candace Hare is Summer's grandmother, and also the mother of Rosemarie Bly, who is missing. Rosemarie Bly went missing in 2009, August 21st, 2009, in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. She went missing. Her car was found right near where Candace Hare lived in Grantsburg, Wisconsin. And then, as a lot of you guys know, Summer Wells went missing. Very strange, bizarre circumstances. And Warren lives there, the brother of Candace Hare.
And I agree with JLR. How can that be ignored? Candace Hare is the sister of Warren, who is a dangerous SO. She's the mother of Rose, who went missing without a trace. As Dawn said, they never found her either. She's the grandmother of Summer Wells, who has disappeared without a trace. She was home that day that Summer disappeared, as was Candace. We really don't have a straight answer as to where Dawn was. Sounds like a common denominator to me, but that's just my opinion. Hunter also said Candace was out of her mind that day.
The brother. You know, if he lived closer to the road, I might have went up there to ask him, you know, and talk to him. But it's scary out here because you don't see like neighbors. You don't see anybody. But according to the Wisconsin Registry, Warren is a registered sex offender and the public has a right to know where he lives. So this is not doxing. This is not giving out private information. Warren Harrer is a convicted registered sex offender and his address has to be listed by law so the public knows where he lives. He is the brother, again, of Candace Harrer, grandmother to Summer Wells, mother to Rosemary Bly. Both of them are missing. So he lives very remotely off a main road. You see corn, lots of corn.
Brother or not, I wouldn't have gone to visit his nasty ass. The boys had just been removed by CPS, and she travels to Wisconsin. He was just released in August. Now, some people say, oh, she never went to see him. Get real. Get real. Of course she did. She got there just in time for his release.
This area. Let me know what you think. If you could ask Warren a question of what happened to Summer Wells, what would you ask him? Do you think that Candace Harrer is involved in any way with the disappearance of her daughter, Rosemary Bly, or the disappearance of Summer Wells, her granddaughter? Do you think that? I'm Jonathan Lee Riches. I am out on the scene. I travel around the country investigating and just looking into matters when it comes to missing people, unsolved crimes. I am for the victims, totally for the victims. Hopefully Summer Wells is found. If you have any credible information about the whereabouts of Summer Wells, contact Tennessee Borough Investigation, 1-800-TBI-FIND. I'm just going to show you how long this street is here so you can see. So he just lives down here. This is the road. Kingston Road. Registered sex offender, probably about a half a mile that way. And as you see, there is just remote. It's just remote. If you have any information about Rosemary Bly, she went missing August 21st, 2009. That's a long time ago. Contact the Polk County Sheriff's Office. The FBI is also investigating this case. The FBI is investigating this case. FBI is also investigating the Summer Wells case. You know, there's two family members of Candace Harrer go missing. One in 2009, the other in 2021. So, and both are unsolved. So, it's a tragedy. Hopefully, they deserve a proper burial if they're alive. I hope and pray they're alive. You know, you always want to have hope.
Great job from Jonathan. That is insane. Those are lottery odds. If you have someone go missing in your family, you're already in a club you don't want to be in. It's rare. Okay. Now, an adult that goes on vacation and doesn't tell anybody or goes hiking, like our case a couple of weeks ago, that they're adults. But to have two people in your family and have the FBI involved in their disappearance without a trace, those are lottery odds. Okay. No wonder Candace plays coin pusher all the time. All right, so now listen to what Candace said when she was talking to Chris McDonough, and he said, walk me through when you got home. God, look at Candace's face with that Mom Patrol shirt on. I kind of like it better when she wears her coin pusher uniform.
She usually sleeps until 9, 10, even 12 o'clock if I let her.
Okay. How did the milk bottles get rearranged? Hunter said he had them on the floor and then he put them next to him.
They weren't.
Is that
no.
Okay, so walk me through that.
When we dropped them off, they were actually still on his lap.
Okay.
And he put them on the other side of Summer.
Okay. So he reached over?
Yeah, he set them over there by that. What's a black tote she had in there?
Okay. Was there? Where's that tote at?
I think actually my mom's got it still in her truck. It's got a bunch of crafts and stuff in it.
Okay, got it.
It's got a bunch of crafts and stuff in it. She's going to stick with this milk story, and he's not going to let it go. But we were told, Pruitt told Ansley Daniel that the last video of Summer is from the horse pond, not the milk. I've heard that the milk video's from April. I've heard it's from June 4th. I don't know. No Bra Patrol can tell us, though, but she won't.
Got it. And now from when you pulled up, did she just fall asleep next to that?
She fell asleep, I'd say maybe 5 minutes on the road.
Okay. Got it. And then, so walk me through, you get home, you take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower of his. But I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, wake up, we're at home. She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, come on. I said, Mom, I'll be right back. Well, went in there and got the boys and they were sitting at the table. And I said, come on, let's get the groceries out. And we brought them all in the house, went through them all, did all that.
And this is that's her swing.
That's her swing right there.
Come show me her swing. Why is this, and who's this?
That is Smoking Boots. That's my boy's cat.
And how many dogs do you have here on the property? About?
Honestly, I don't know because people just keep dropping them off.
Hi. I know. Okay.
But we're supposed to believe the dogs weren't home that day. The dogs had a spa day. The dogs went to the Caribbean. She doesn't even know how many dogs she has. People just keep dumping them off on me. People just keep dumping them off. Jolie said, jumped up like nothing? Like what? Like nothing happened? Like you didn't whop her in the head as you were driving because she was getting on your nerves? What do you mean she just jumped up like nothing? That's a very strange statement. So what happened that you have to mention she jumped up like nothing happened?
Sorry. So this is her swing.
That's her swing.
This is her playground.
Yep.
And she loved this area. Boy, I'm looking at this, and this terrain, Candace, just strikes me as being so dense and just. Is that they say the dog trail? Where's this dog trail thing?
I'm not sure, honestly.
There's so many of them.
The dogs go in every different.
Yeah,
way.
I saw the dogs came out of the woods as we were pulling up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do that all the time.
Okay.
Okay. Chris says, I see the dogs coming up out of the woods. Dawn's theory is that the human trafficker that found Summer on Facebook came up the dog trail. Well, the dogs are coming up out of the woods. They would have barked their heads off had somebody been creeping around in the woods. You can hear them howling and everything, and what does she say? They do that all the time. But they didn't on June 15th. Huh. Well, they're not going to bark at people they know.
That trail right there, my boys, they ride those dirt bikes that are leaning against the truck over there.
Okay.
You can see there's one of them.
Okay.
And they
Those are like 50 cc's, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one ain't. I think it's only like 25, I think.
Okay.
She says that trail right there. Oh my gosh, thank you, Lisa, for the super sticker. Thank you, my love. She says that trail right there, the boys ride their dirt bikes up and down it. Don said he didn't even know there was a dog trail. Well, you're in the videos of the kids riding up and down it. Gaelic Girl says all the dogs are gone now. Yeah. Because she didn't even leave as much as a sack of dog food when she took off with Kathy, and the Humane Society had to go up there and get all the dogs and adopt them out. Anything that breathes oxygen that's around Candace is not going to be taken care of.
But yeah, they go down that trail with their dirt bikes and then come back up on the road, up on the driveway and go around and stuff.
What was it about this swing that is just so important for her?
She liked it. She just liked to swing. All the kids did.
Now, I don't want to talk about the boys right now because I know that's, a tough another part of your heart. Okay. Yeah. And that's none of my business.
Right.
I'm not here for any of it. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge anybody. Right. I'm here to talk about Summer and help you find Summer. Okay. And help anybody find her. Okay. That messaging. Okay. So you go into the house.
Go in the house.
Can I follow you in, or do you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know why the dog's doing this. Still the cat food.
Okay. And is this they're going to attack me?
No.
Oh, I was just I'm teasing you. The dog's going to attack me. So this is the scaffolding you're talking about.
Yeah, that's my.
Okay, so she comes up, jumps up, and goes right in.
Yep.
Okay. How many cats? You know what? You should have like a zoo license. You know, I'm seeing all kinds of critters, which is good. Okay, where's Summer's bed?
Oh, it's in the basement.
Got it. Okay. So what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Okay, so they're at the table watching TV. Okay.
They were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Now, who's this on?
She said they're locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out type of thing. And also, Tim is going to lead us to believe with all the exposed wires and everything around the house, he says that the house was in disarray from all of the searches that were done after Summer went missing. We've seen pictures of the house before she went missing. On Candace's Facebook, she's got many accounts. No, it already looked like that. It already looked like that. The only way Tim would even know is if he had been there before, because he knew them before.
Up here.
That's my little sister that's missing.
Oh, that's Rose.
That's Rose.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow. And who's the guy?
That's her ex-husband.
Wow. Do you think he had anything to do with that?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Can't say.
How's your mom deal with that?
It's difficult.
Yeah, I know. You know I know, right? So, okay, watching TV. Where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me.
Okay, so walk me through that.
All right, well, we walked up in here and we got Josie, Wyatt, and Waylon, the boys.
Right.
Well,
You put the groceries down, right?
Yeah, well, we went back out and then we brought the groceries in and put them down. And then Mom, she went and took her stuff to her house, put her stuff away.
Okay.
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
Okay. You went back in.
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff.
Okay.
On the house like we normally do. And I come out, Mom was sitting there at the time I come out and I'm standing here.
Okay.
I was like, what are you doing? What are you staring at? She's like, these plants, I gotta get them transplanted. I was like, well, Summer will help us, so I went back in. By that time she was sitting on the floor playing with her toys.
Right here?
No, in the kitchen where we were just at.
Okay.
She was actually sitting on the floor playing with the toys at that time. I said, Summer, you want to help plant flowers? And she jumped up, left her toys a mess, of course. That's cool.
Yeah, well, that's what kids do. It's their job.
What?
Okay.
We walked over here and we transplanted these cactuses from the little pots that they were in. We transplanted these ones here into this bigger pot and that one into that bigger pot. And then she took the rocks that we've gotten from different gem mines when we went up to Gatlinburg and stuff.
Okay.
And she's the one that spreaded all the rocks around in here. And then she put her puppies in here. She wanted Chase in there, you know.
Okay.
That was cool.
Where are those puppies now?
What do you mean?
Oh, the little puppies, her real ones.
Yeah, these little.
Oh, yeah, those little guys. Oh, that's Paw Patrol.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the police one.
Yep, that's Chase. He's always on the case.
Okay. Okay.
We
Oh, I see another one over here.
She put him in there. Yeah, you're on the cactus.
Okay. Don't take those out, okay?
No, I leave them right there.
I know.
And then we went in my mom's way. We can't get in there.
Yeah, that's fine. Went in there.
We went in there and got some candy and stuff. She gets from grandma.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to.
So everybody's in and out of sleep that day. Allie, Candace took a nap. The boys were half asleep watching TV, but Summer's the only one that jumps right up.
Go back over to the house. She wanted to go back, so I said I'd go back, you know.
Okay.
And I brought her. I literally walked over to here. Like literally walked right to here where I could see the boys and on the kitchen table.
Got them.
And I watched her walk in there. And afterwards, when she was already in there, I walked over and said, Wyatt. And he looked at me and I said, watch Sissy, I'll be right back. And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids. And that's when I come back up into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay. You walked into the house.
Well, I walked into here. Get up. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here in front with their eyes glued to the TV. Oh, no,
She said, those three were sitting here with their eyes glued to the TV. Tree Baby Tennessee said she was the last one with her. Yes. But it's interesting that the story changed from dishes, laundry, and pouring cereal and putting away groceries, which actually would make sense, the grocery story, because we know how long it takes to put up groceries, to she was with the boys. She's changed her story too many times.
And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this. So this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her bedroom.
Our bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled and I said, Summer. And she didn't. I listened for a minute. I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this. This is how I always get down here.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Good.
Well, no, Candace, it would make more sense if you walked through a damn door, but okay, she goes, it makes more sense if you go this way.
Breathe,
No, I know if my 6-foot husband can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he can fit, you can.
This. Oh my gosh. Way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay.
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
That's all right.
But this.
And they have porn playing on the TV.
This is where Summer and little Waylon was. Because Waylon's only 9.
Okay.
And they stayed down here. And these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrol,
All her movies. She's got a movie about the Savior.
The boys I brought back down here after she went missing because I didn't want them upstairs by themselves anymore.
Okay. And this is all her toys.
These are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are all hers, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game system. That's the boys'.
Okay.
But them are all her toys.
And she's really into Paw Patrol. I see that.
Yeah, I've been collecting from day one. And these are all her little ponies that I've bought. And then these are them girls that she likes. Them new fashion, I don't know what they are, little princesses or whatever. She's like all kinds of, here's one of them bracelets.
Oh, that's just one of them. What do they call these? Oh, this is a little pony bracelets.
Yeah, I don't know what they were really called, but she liked them, and so I just, every time I go to the garage sale, I'd buy her what she wanted.
Okay.
You know, whenever I got a little bit of money, I spend it on the kids.
Yeah, this is her. This is, I understand her now.
Yeah.
Even better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is really important.
Oh my gosh. Now, this statement from Chris has always broke my heart when Chris said, I understand her now. He goes, this is important. Thank you. She's like, you're welcome. I don't think he meant it as a compliment. You're welcome. This was not meant to be a compliment.
Important.
But yeah, I come down and I searched. I looked up underneath the beds under there. We can't really get on. I can't get under there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I looked under there, looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here and I look on one side and see nowhere.
Okay. She looks under the mattress, she had said at another interview. She looked under every blanket she could possibly look under. Now, already, Summer's not answering back. You don't need to look under a blanket. You can tell if there is a child under a blanket. So then she says she goes out the door.
And I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know, it's hard on me. But I know I did come out here and I said, Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play just for, you know. And usually when she comes out and she goes directly that way up to the swing.
Oh, okay, so this is like her.
Yeah, she
come running out. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see the path here.
Right to the swing.
Right, you can see where she could have run right up to here.
And this is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go out nowhere else.
Okay. I want to go around this side. What is this?
So with the blacked out windows, how would any abductor, and I gave up on the abduction theory forever and a day ago, how would anyone know that there is a child in the basement? She said, I don't remember if this door was locked or not. But earlier she said no one in, no one out.
Blue thing here.
Oh, that was, we were putting trash in it.
Okay.
And we did have a trash man at the time, but he stopped running.
Oh, wow.
I gotta lock this.
Okay, I'm going to film around this side. Now walk me through, what's this little
oh, that right there?
Little cave thing there?
That's not really a cave. Actually, we built this addition, me and Donnie and the kids.
Oh, okay.
And we left this part open because the dog, at the time we did have little puppies. These dogs were little puppies.
Uh-huh.
And we let them go under there. They would run in and out of the bricks over there. There's actually 7 pups up under there now.
Okay.
And it's always been open like that. Well, you can see after you've been here, you can see how mellow the dogs are.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
That's what they do. They're
And
lazy.
they're kind of a Jack Russell. They got a little Jack
They're
Russell in
Jack
it.
Russell, yeah. Actually, the gentleman that lives over there in the other trailer across the creek actually has the mama to that dog there.
Mm-hmm.
So between Grandis's camper, the vantage point from the door, there's 7 pups in that crawl space, dogs all over. This extensive search effort did not come up with anything. Her scent ended at the road. And as you can see, all we have from Dawn is theories. Theory after theory after theory. Joe Biden, human traffickers, and Grandis, who Hunter said was out of her mind that day. He didn't know what she was all pissed off about. She says, oh, we planted flowers. I gave her a peppermint. I took a nap. I think they went swimming that day. I just knew she was gone. Too many inconsistencies, too many lies. You're already so broke that you're having to ask people for cigarette money, yet you have 7 pups in a crawl space and you have dogs all over your property, but the dogs weren't there that day. And it's been established time and time and time again that a stranger would not just wander onto this property. It just looks like dense woods. It's been established time and time and time again that there was an extensive search that came up with nothing. With nothing. We still have missing hours in the timeline. And the initial search between Candace and Grandis was nada. Nada. I looked under the blankets. I went outside, looked by the door. You fill it in with Grandis where she says, and I just knew she'd been abducted. No one in their right mind in a rural area would just assume a child has been abducted. They're going to assume they're out in the woods somewhere. Lisa Durr wanted me to go back to something. Hang on. She said, is that Dawn's white truck? See, I still think Dawn was home that day during this interview. I do.
If you've been here, you'd see how mellow the dogs are.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
That's what they do. They're lazy.
They're kind of a Jack Russell. They got a little Jack Russell in it.
Jack Russell, yeah. Actually, the gentleman that lives over there in the other trailer across the creek actually has the mama to that dog there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with John Davis True Crime. Not when the dogs alerted to nothing. Because those of you that have pets know that they might get excited when you get home, but when it's stranger danger, they're going to howl their head off. So whoever was on the property, they knew. Those dogs would have been barking. Everybody that comes on that property has said, we've heard it from WJHL in the Grandis interview, when Chris McDonough went up there and others, you can hear the dogs barking. It's just one lie and one inconsistency after another. So when these other channels say, oh, it's never about Summer, they just want to sit there and talk bad about the parents. If their story made sense, it would make sense. People wouldn't be talking about them. They wouldn't be. You cannot talk about the case of Summer Wells without talking about the 3 adults that were closest to her. That is Dawn, Candace, and Candace. That's it. It's impossible. Because one of the 3 or all 3 know what happened June 15th of 2021. They can tell time every other day, but they can't that day. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. But I want to say thank you very, very much to all of you for being here today and not giving up on the case of Summer Wells. She is still missing, so she is still going to be talked about. Thank you, Lisa, for the super sticker. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Connie, for gifting memberships today. Like I said, just in time, because tomorrow we have a members live for Halloween. I'm going to dress as a coin pusher. You guys are going to love it. It didn't take me too long to go through DT's dresser to find my coin pusher uniform. Didn't have to buy anything. So you guys have a great rest of your Monday. If you've been hit by this cold front, bundle up because that air will cut right through you. It will cut right through you. So if I don't see you in Discord today or one of the Facebook groups, then I will see you tomorrow for our Halloween Members Live. It's going to be 9 a.m. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you again. Thank you, mods. And thank you to you guys just being the absolute best community on YouTube.